All right, episode 36 of Young and Naive, and today I have none other than who?
I'm the U.S. Ambassador, Philip Murphy.
Hello, Philip. What does an ambassador do?
One of the great parts of this job is the variety of what you do. You do a lot of different things. Broadly speaking, I have two lives other than my family.
Two lives?
Two lives. One life is what I have to do today, the here and now. You gotta talk to someone in the government about this topic. The other part of my life is I spend a lot of time with youth in Germany.
Really?
Do a lot of town halls, talk about the importance of the German-American relationship.
So you talk to people like me and even younger?
Even younger.
Even younger?
Even younger.
And you don't even know how old I am?
You're a young guy, I know.
I might be 16.
You might be. I just did a town hall yesterday in Quedlinburg, which is in Sachsen-Anhalt, with a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds.
Tell us about what is a town hall?
Town hall is where I get up and I say a little bit in German, and then I do it either in German or mostly English, and talk about my typical town halls. I walk around the kids, they ask questions.
What do they want to know?
They typically, I do, broadly speaking, two kinds. One is we talk about heroes.
Heroes?
Heroes.
Superheroes?
No, like heroes like Martin Luther King Jr. So I talk about my heroes, they talk about their heroes, and that was yesterday. So those are really good.
Do sometimes both sides have the same heroes?
Yeah. In fact, I asked yesterday, give me some of your names before I even opened my mouth. And the first two names were Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks.
Really? Two
of my heroes. The other town hall I say things like, okay, today is April, and these are the 5 things that I'm thinking about today, or the 10 things that are really on my mind. And so those are really great opportunities. And I view that as sort of setting the stage for the future.
Besides talking to the German youth, what else do you do as an ambassador here in Germany?
You do in the here and now stuff, like the stuff you got to do today. You do a lot of interaction with the government, with members.
The German government?
The German government, the members of the Bundestag. I see a lot of representatives from industry, German and American.
Why is that? Why is that part of your job?
People want to talk about the economy. How's the economy going in the United States?
Do you tell them about it, or can you help them?
I try. I don't know if I can help them, but I try to give them my best shot. I'm a former banker, so I think some people think that I know more than I, in fact, do know about markets and the economy, so we talk about that a lot. We talk to members of the media a lot, all shapes and sizes. Yeah, so it's a variety. We have a lot of internal meetings because we got to deal with budgets and things like that.
Okay. Tell me, I always wondered, how do you become an ambassador?
It's a very good question. So in our system, about 20% of the ambassadors are like me. They're political appointees by the president. The other 80%
So you were appointed by Mr. Obama?
By the president. The other 80% are just like the German Foreign Service in that they are career ambassadors. They've spent their whole career as in the Foreign Service, and I might add some of the very best professionals I've ever been around. Why does somebody call you and ask you? I have no idea. I lived in Germany in the 90s as a private citizen. So I had a sense of the place.
Did you work here?
I worked here.
What did you do?
I was a banker.
For who?
Goldman Sachs. Spoke some German. Got to know the country. That's got to be part of it. I've never asked the president when someone calls you up and says you want to do something and you're really excited about it. The last thing you want to do is say, well, by the way, why are you calling me?
I always ask why.
Yeah.
There might be some reason.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know.
I choose to just speculate. Okay. But he's a great guy, very logical guy, so I bet you my background, having a little bit of Germany in my life, is probably part of it.
Do you know him pretty well?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. What did you do, when did you become ambassador? When was that?
I got here in August of 2009.
2009. So after Obama got elected. Okay.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Correct.
So does the president change ambassadors after he got elected?
Re-elected?
No, like
Yeah.
I mean, there was Bush, and then
Yep.
Obama came, and you
Yep.
you got appointed
In
after
that,
Obama.
correct. In that 20% group, yeah, almost always.
So these 20% got
Typically gets turned over.
okay.
So that's a typical thing in our system too.
What did you do before you were ambassador?
I was a banker. That was a full-time job. I also was the finance chair for the Democratic Party, which is raising political money.
I read about that you, like, in 2006, you quit your job at the bank at Goldman Sachs.
Yep.
On a Friday, and like 2 days later you started working.
That's
for
about
the
true.
Democrat.
That's about true.
How do these jobs differ? I mean, on the one hand, you got to make money, and on the other hand, how do you?
You got to get money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the American system kind of works like you have to get a lot of donations. So you were responsible for the donations.
For the party.
For the party.
Our system relies way too much on raising money. It's crazy. And so, yeah, you raise a lot of money. Every job I've ever had, and by the way, that was not a job. I was a volunteer, actually, for that. That was a full-time volunteer.
So you were not even paid.
Exactly.
Is that a job then?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I loved doing it because I met some incredible people, and I believed with great passion in the cause. I believed in what the party stood for, and ultimately, certainly, for the president. I think in life, and I certainly would say this about being an ambassador, there's a common element to every job I've ever had, which is you have to get to know people, you have to find mutual respect, and then you have to figure out, okay, where can we find common ground and sort of go forward so that we both benefit. That's sort of the basic element to any job I've ever had.
And you got to find money.
Well, in that case, you had to find money. But in this case, as ambassador, you're trying to solve, working with one of our best allies in the world, Germany, you're trying to solve the world's problems. But the basic foundation of every job I've ever had is you got to get to know people, develop respect for each other, find common ground. And that's the case for this, raising money, working on Wall Street, whatever it might be.
Does it now even work better, working with people now that you don't have to care about any money anymore? I mean, any money as in part of your job is not money anymore?
I don't think that's impacted it, no. I think basically, if you saw me in action 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and yesterday, I think you'd see that I have a pretty standard, similar approach, regardless of what it might be.
How long did you work for the Democratic Party?
I was the finance chair for about just under 3 years, about 2.5 years.
3 years. And when did it end? When you became ambassador?
No. I started in May of 2006, and I ended the day after President Obama was inaugurated. I resigned.
So you were actually that successful. I mean, you made it kind of possible that Obama got elected?
I wouldn't say that. I played a small, tiny little role, but I think he's somebody who would be the first to admit he's the most important guy on the team, but there's a big team to get somebody elected, and I was a little part of that.
So were a lot of these team members, are they now part of the 20%?
To some extent, yes. I haven't really gone through that. The 20% is an interesting mix, though, because it's not just folks who, as an example, might have been involved in an election. It's people who have real expertise who are brought in to government to address a particular issue or to fill a particular post. So some of the folks look like me, but some are my colleague who's just leaving in Brussels has left as our ambassador to NATO, is an absolute expert in that area. So he's part of that 20%. So it's a mix of folks.
I actually read that the daughter or the niece of John F. Kennedy is going to be ambassador to Japan. Is that right?
The daughter of John F. Kennedy is rumored in the press, Caroline Kennedy,
that's
to
big.
be
that's big, right?
A huge deal. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but the press has said that, and that would be a big deal. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to talk in part 2.
Thank you, Thilo.